Most painting contractors hit a wall and don't even realize why. I've coached hundreds of painting business owners, and I've built an $8 million painting company myself, and I've seen a lot of common mistakes made over and over again. In this video, I'm going to break down the 6 most common mistakes that I see keeping painting business owners stuck or slowing their business down. Let's fix them. Tracking your numbers. If you're not tracking your numbers on a weekly basis, you're not serious about scaling. This is probably the most common advice that I'm giving to painting business owners. It boggles my mind how many business owners aren't tracking their numbers, and it is such a mistake. By not tracking your numbers, you're leaving yourself completely in the dark, and you don't have the data or the information required to make accurate decisions. There hasn't been a week since I've started my company where I haven't tracked how many leads we've gotten, how many estimates we've completed, how many jobs we've booked, how much revenue we've booked, how much revenue we've produced. That is all tracked on a weekly basis. And on a monthly basis, I review the entire P&L, so my actual budget, and compare it against my planned budget. I do that every single month without fail. And with that data, I'm able to make way more accurate decisions because I'm not guessing, I'm making decisions based on the data. And so if you're not tracking your numbers, it is just a fundamental that you must start tracking your numbers so that you can actually see what's so and make better decisions. This is the scoreboard of your business. If you're not doing this, please start immediately because you're flying blind. It's the baseline of having a real business, not solving the biggest constraint. Your business has a bottleneck right now. If you're not attacking it aggressively, you're wasting time. No business grows beyond the constraint of the business. So it is a skill to develop to be able to identify what is the constraint of my business. And once you've identified that, you should be allocating more time, money, and attention to solving that thing. I was working with a painting contractor who was doing about 3 estimates a week, and he was selling about 40% of his jobs. And he came to me requesting coaching on his sales rate. And I paused him and asked him why he wanted coaching on his sales rate. And he said, well, because if I, sell more jobs, I'll make more money. And I said, I agree, but you're focused on the wrong thing in the business. You're not focused on the constraint right now. Let me break down the math for you. He was doing 3 estimates per week at 40% sales rate. So he was booking 1.2 jobs a week. Let's say his sales rate improves to 50% sales rate. He'll now be booking 1.5 jobs per week. That's good, but it's an incremental improvement and it's not the constraint of the business. Whereas if we work on the marketing side, which is the constraint of the business, and we get him from doing 3 estimates a week to 9 estimates a week, that will literally grow his business by 300%. So he was focusing all this time and attention and thought he needed to become better at sales, which I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm just saying that's not the number one constraint of the business right now. Marketing is. So let's solve the marketing constraint first and then assess what is the next constraint to solve. Every business has a constraint. Identify yours and allocate more time, money, and attention to solving it rapidly. That's how you'll grow your business. Underinvesting in marketing. If your leads are slow, this is the first place to look. So many PVP members are doing 2 to 4 estimates per week and they're stuck in that mark. And it's because they're underinvesting in marketing. They're not spending enough time, money, and attention on marketing. If you're in a position where you're doing 2 to 4 estimates a week, I would at least be spending over half of my week on marketing, ideally 30 plus hours. If that's you, my advice would be to create a game with yourself to double the amount of estimates you're doing per week, from 3 to 6, for example, and get connected to the fact that by doing so, you would literally be doubling your business. By solving that one constraint, you would be actually doubling the business. Given that's what's at stake, you should attack that thing aggressively. I would be aggressively spending more time, money, and attention on my marketing so that I can get to 6 estimates a week, and then from 6 to 9, and then from 9 to 15, and then from 15 to 20. That's literally what's going to grow the business. Without marketing, people don't know who you are, and so your business will not grow. Marketing drives the entire machine, so invest heavily, go deep, and do not dabble. Weak team building. Most people hire fast and train sloppy and then wonder why they're stuck. This was me early on in my business. I made this mistake over and over again early on. I would hire too fast. Anyone who I kind of liked, who I thought could do the job pretty well, I would hire them. And then my training was not nearly thorough enough. My training took 2 to 4 weeks. I cut corners because I had the mindset of, man, I can't wait to have this person trained so I can get this off my plate. That is a horrible mindset to train someone within, because you can imagine within that mindset, you don't train them on everything and you really just do the bare minimum. The problem with that is that they will either burn out or they won't be hitting their numbers and you'll have to let them go. It took me turning over multiple employees to finally get that I have to go all in on training and onboarding new employees. And then once they're onboarded, I have to continually go all in on their ongoing training and development. And now our training process is night and day more thorough than it was before. It's more than 10 times more thorough than it was before. Because we know to build an extraordinary team, you have to hire incredible people, you have to pay them really well, you have to treat them really well, and then you have to train and develop them rigorously forever. Poor client experience. If you think some clients are just tough and unreasonable, you're missing the point. I hear this mindset all the time. Blaming customers, brushing off responsibility, pointing the finger, saying clients are unreasonable, or man, that client is super picky and just being kind of crazy. That mindset is a horrible one in terms of creating a great company with a fantastic reputation. It's such a common place people go when there's a problem on a job and a client gets upset, is pointing the finger, pointing the blame at how crazy the client's being or how picky the client's being. And it's just such a mistake. It's a subtle way for you to let yourself off the hook and avoid the responsibility of actually delivering a great client experience to everyone you serve. If you can make this one change and actually commit to delivering an exceptional experience, not just when things are going great, because everyone can do that, that's easy to do, but also when a client is upset, being totally committed that that client has an extraordinary experience through this problem. And if you can actually commit to that and deliver on that, your business will be in the top 1% of businesses in your industry. Chasing too many services. If you haven't mastered one service, why are you offering 3? A couple weeks ago, I was talking to a painting contractor who was having issues with production and with crews turning over. And he was asking a lot of questions to me about how to get crews to stick and how to essentially make his production department less chaotic and deliver a better customer experience, which are all really great questions to be asking. As I'm asking him questions and digging into his business, he tells me we do interior and exterior painting, but on this client's house, we were also replacing their hardwood floor. And I was like, oh, so you do flooring as well? And he's like, yeah, just some types of flooring we replace. And I was like, oh, okay. Then later in the conversation, I found out he also is doing cleaning. And that's when I paused him and asked him, why are you doing flooring and cleaning and painting? And he said, well, because clients ask for it sometimes. In our area, like we've gotten asked a fair amount if we do flooring. So we started to service it. And then we got asked if we do cleaning. And so we started to service that too, so we can make more money, make more revenue. That was his thought process was, well, if we add these services, it will make us more revenue. My response was, well, yes, in theory, but in practice, that's often not the case. Just because a client asks for a service doesn't mean you should offer that service. This painting contractor in particular hadn't even scratched the surface of the painting market in his local service area. My guess is he's serving 0.001% of all of the houses that will get painted in his service area this year. So the amount of opportunity in just the painting market in his service area was miles long, and he hadn't even scratched the surface of it. And so this lack of focus and this, oh, let me do 3 services, had created a bunch of chaos in his production department and ultimately slows down his ability to scale. So many businesses and entrepreneurs fail due to a lack of focus. Focus is a superpower. Master one thing, master one service, and systematize it to a point where it can scale, and only start layering on other services once that system has scaled and is running by itself. Want to learn what to do right? Go watch my video where I share the 7 lessons I've learned from building an $8 million painting company from scratch.